shit crazy. Smoke to get my mind right. Chillin', trying to get my grind right. Fight for respect. Smoke just to chill. Waiting on the president. Shit getting real.
Well, what's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the Stone Vet USMC. Happy Friday, guys. Man, it's been crazy. It's been a long week. It's been discouraging. Some parts have been discouraging, but man, when life smacks you in the face, it's time to wake up and say, hey, what do I got to do now? It's like what Tyson said. I think Tyson said it the best himself. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Then you got to figure out what to do next, right? I think
Yep.
we all have experienced that. Being veterans, especially, man, we've all been punched in the mouth once or twice. We've done our thing. We've had to go, and and we had. I think that's the best part about being in the service, serving our wonderful country. Is like you get punched in the mouth. What do you do now? Are you going to keep getting
Yeah.
punched in the mouth, or are you going to stand up and fight and say, okay, plan A didn't work. It's time for plan B. When plan B
Right.
don't work, it's time for plan C. What are we doing now? It's crazy, man. It's Friday. Hopefully, you guys are finally getting off work by the time you watch this. Maybe you are at work when you're watching this. Whatever the case may be, man. I hope you got us in your ear and you're hanging out, chilling with us, and just enjoying the time together. Like I said, it's about that camaraderie, man. Every Friday, we get off work after serving, regardless if you have to go to work Saturday or not. You want to go around the barbecue grill, you want to hang out, and you just want to reminisce with your brothers and sisters that you've been with all week. Talking about the crazy nonsense Sergeant G had you guys doing during the week, or whatever staff NCO had you doing during the week, man. You know, the craziness that happens when you serve. You see it, you live it, and you're done, right? But now we're
Right.
out, and it's like, I ain't got Sergeant G telling me what to do anymore. What do you do now? What is your days like now that you don't have that camaraderie, that you're not pushing freaking 15-hour weeks, trying to get 15-hour days, trying to get through and trying to be like, dang, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Now you actually work for civilians that don't understand any of your nonsense that you've dealt with or what you've been through.
Right.
I got the honor of bringing on Mr. Eric here. He's another Army guy. For whatever reason, the Army loves hanging out with the Marines. They love me. They love Sergeant G. I got Eric here. He spent some time in the Army. He did his four and he got out like a smart gentleman would. He got in. He said, "I'm gonna serve my country," and decided, 4 years is long enough for me. I don't want to do this anymore. And so that's what I got. I've had an honor here because guess what? He found his purpose again after getting out, man. Happy Friday, Eric. How you doing today?
Happy Friday, Sergeant G. What's up? Doing all right.
It's an honor, dude. It's an honor to have you. You reached out to me and you said somebody told you that you got to go on the Sergeant G show. You got to come hang out with Sergeant G. Tell him the amazing things you've been doing, man. Talking with you, you've been doing some awesome things after seven, that's the biggest point. That's the point of the show is to hang out and say, hey, what's my purpose again? So, Mr. Egg, you spent some time in the army. You told me earlier you was an ammo guy, man. During that time as an
Eighty
ammo,
number.
I bet that was some fun, man. You got to play with. There's probably a lot of counting. I bet there was a lot of counting going on while you was an ammo tech.
Yeah, it's a lot of counting, but when you're counting hand grenades and firing pins, it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, who else is going to say, "Oh, I sat there and counted hand grenades all day"? You know.
Right?
So it
No,
was fun. It was interesting, and we didn't have any supervision, so we were trusted with just the privates and the specialists to go out and do whatever we needed to in the bunkers, and so it was pretty cool. We had a lot of freedom.
I bet being out there. I mean, usually those guys like yourself usually do have a lot of freedom because you guys get all the ammo, you guys got all the hand grenades, you guys got all the requirements for us to be able to go out and play field games when we go out
Right.
to the field.
Yeah.
So during your time, you said you were a little bit older when you decided to join the army. You did some time as a civilian and decided I think I got to go in and serve my country. What what
Yeah. Well,
what
I
drove you to
started
do
out.
that? What drove
Well,
you
I
to do
started
that?
out at age 18. I started out doing private security. I had a cousin that had a private security company, so I started, doing unarmed security, the cheap stuff. But then I started advancing, so I went into the armed security. Then I went and did bodyguard training. Went and did a couple of jobs and housing projects under with armed security. So that was pretty interesting. And then I moved into armored trucks and armored cars and moving money. And it was a really neat job. It was a really good job. It brought a lot of danger, but it didn't pay very well. And had a salary
Right.
cap.
They
Yeah.
never
And
usually do. They never usually
yeah,
do any of those armored anything. Never usually pays what you think you should be getting paid to be taking care of a lot of money.
yeah, they don't. I mean, we're talking $12, $13 an hour to do that. And
And you're running
it's
around
not.
with hundreds of thousands of dollars in your truck, and you're like, "What's $13 an hour gonna do for me, man?"
Yeah, and it's a salary cap. I mean, you can work 20 years, but you're going to make the same money. You're never going to get a raise.
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? So you did a little. You played a little. You got to live life before joining the army and got to see what life was like before joining the service. Unlike somebody like me, I joined at 17, didn't know what the hell life was about, and decided to join the military and allow them to be my fucking daddy to raise me to be a to raise me to be a human being in this country, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, it's different because I did 9 years. I did 9 years active duty, and I was like, okay, I'm done. After
Mhm.
9 years, I said I did enough. I done went to the desert twice, and I done. I'm back, and I don't want to go back no more. They try to send me back again. I'm like, no, I don't want to go back no more.
Yeah.
And so with that time, it sucked. And for you had the joy. You joined during the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you got
Yeah.
any during your time of deployment that ended up changing your life, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty unique experience. And I was lucky to be part of the group of assholes that had to go for 15 months and not 12.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a lot longer, and they only gave us 14 days off of leave, even though we had an uh, uh, extended deployment. And about 5 days of that was travel. Just trying to get out of there.
Right. And you're like, how am I supposed to get 14? I get 14 days off, and 5 days of
Yeah.
it's gonna take me 5 days just to get back on vacation. Guess what? I gotta come back in 10,
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got shit in the stick on that one.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I mean, that's the freaking army for you, though. My dad and
Right.
my uncle, they both served in the army. I think majority
Oh,
of my
okay.
family served in the army. I had an uncle that served in the army. My dad served in the army. My other uncle served in the Air Force. He was an officer in the Air Force.
Awesome.
And I told him, I was like, they're like, why you want to be a Marine? I said, because I want to be better than all of you. That's why I wanted to be better than all of you guys. But I mean, my uncle, he's a jump master. He was with the 82nd Airborne. He did a whole long stint with the 82nd. Now he's a diehard 82nd Airborne guy. And if you know anything like
Um,
the Army, 82nd, everybody talks about the 82nd, you know,
right. Right.
and he's a diehard 82nd guy, and he just he loved being in the army. He got pissed because I deployed before him back in '03. I was part of the invasion back in '03. I was with the support squad, and our mission was just to it was a supplies in, bodies out type mission where we were at because I was right on the Iraqi-Kuwaiti border, and we were building
Okay.
a flight line. We built the flight line out of sand, and we were
Hmm.
responsible for that flight line. Like I said, C-130s were flying in and out all day long, and our responsibility was after that C-130 hit, because when it hits, it's going to grind. That wheel's going to go dig into the sand, and our
Right.
job was to go out there and patch all the holes up and make sure getting ready for the next C-130 coming in and out.
Yeah. That way it doesn't get all rutted up.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it was a supplies in, bodies out type mission is what we were doing back in '03. I was blessed. I was blessed. I was expecting to be out there for 9 months, and I only ended up being out there for 4 months. I got lucky as hell. Honestly, I got lucky as hell. Honestly,
And a
It was-
Marine too. That's a very short deployment for a Marine.
absolutely. That's absolutely. It was a short deployment. I was surprised. I was like, wow. They said, you ready to go home? I said, back me up, dude. We were going. You ain't got to tell me twice. Let's get out of here. Because I just had my baby. I had my baby
Right.
2 weeks before I pumped out, you know? And so I was like, this sucks, dude. Like, I'm gonna be gone for everything. Because Marines, we don't deploy like long like you guys. We don't need, there's no need for us to be out there for a year, 15, 18 months in the desert for any reason at all.
Right.
I tell the Army guys, I always give them a hard time because I said we go out there and blow everything up, and we send the Army in to clean everything up that we blew up, so that you guys can be, guys can make the relationships with all the nationals and let them know everything's okay. Those crazy guys are gone now, and we're here to help you. You know.
And you explain that as a joke, but that is the absolute fucking truth about the service. And that's how we fucking felt when we were on the plane going to Iraq. We're like, okay, now we got to go clean up and we got to fix this shit. And we got to go talk to these people and tell them it's going to be okay and go pay these people. That's exactly what we were doing.
That's exactly what it was like. That's how it was.
Yep.
And that's why I tell people, I was like, nah, I said, we go in, we blow crap up, we tear up their whole town, make everything, make a big noise. We arrange reconnaissance. We end up taking the town over, and we say, okay, the Army's here to take over. And we let you guys have it. So here you go. You can set up base camp now. You can go through and make face with all the nationals, let them know, hey, those crazy guys are gone. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you guys get your town back and you guys go back to living a normal life like you did before everybody else came through. You know,
Right.
that was crazy, man. And that was the biggest joke we always have with everybody. So the Army comes in to clean up the mess. We go in to make the mess, and the Army comes in to clean up the mess. But you know,
Yeah.
I said we always give each other crap. You know, that's just the way. That's the brother love. That's the brotherly love
Exactly.
we have for each other. Is that we can sit around and talk crap to each other on a regular basis. You know, and
Right.
it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. So while you was in, you did. I mean, you end up serving in the desert as well, and you ended up getting the joy of depression and anxiety and PTSD like all of us did.
Yeah.
When you were getting ready to transition out after your 4 years, what was that like for you? What was the transition? How was the transition for you when you was getting out?
Cocktail of chaos. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, everybody I bring on the show, that's one thing I always talk about is like, what was the transition? I mean, in the Marine Corps, they give us the opportunity to go to a class, and it's like a week-long class, and they say, oh, here you go. Here's some classes to help you become a civilian again. You done spent
Yeah,
4 years.
we did something like that.
You know, you spent 4 years or you spent 40 years, and they expect in 1 week for you to learn everything you need to learn in order to become a civilian again. And we
Right.
all know it's a load of crap because there's nothing you cannot. It's going to take you at least a month to actually get that transition to get an understanding. Okay, I have somebody working with me on my VA disability. I have somebody working with me on how to interview for a position. I have somebody helping me write my resume so that I can get ready for an interview. And just the jobs that are out there, the resources that are out there to help them find work. How do you find work? Being an ammo guy, what kind of work can you do? You know, it's kind of hard to say, okay, well, I worked with ammo, I worked with rounds and hand grenades on a daily basis. I know how to keep inventory, but how to transition that into a civilian resume to say, I'm a trustworthy employee and I know how to work. But when
Right.
people see it, it's like your resume doesn't say anything that you're qualified for this position. And that's one of the hard parts, I think. How was your transition? Did you get the joy of going through a class like that?
Yeah, I took some pretty basic classes, and they said because of my cross training with 88 Mike and with 92 Fox that I had some more options in the civilian world. Plus, I'd already been, I started working when I was 16, so I'd already been working 10 years of my life before I went in. So resumes and finding jobs, that wasn't the problem. I went with the 88 Mike part. So when I got out, I took my license. I received a driver's badge, another skill badge for forklift because I could operate all the forklifts also in the Army. And I took that to the DOT in Texas, and I said, "Hey, I want my CDL." And they
Oh,
said, "No, it
wow.
doesn't work like that. You have to go through the course and take the CDL course, and then come and apply for your license." And I said, "But I have an outstanding record, and I can drive almost anything in the Army." And they said, "No, it doesn't work like that." So I had to go through
Of course not. Why would it work like
yeah,
that?
exactly. Even though I have more experience than any truck driver in America, but whatever. Um, so I went through the course, and when I got to the course and I explained the issue to the director, they were like, they thought it was a joke too. They said, "That's a joke." So the first time they put me in the truck, and it was the first time I ever driven like a civilian 18 wheeler.
Right.
I was used to I mean, I could drive standard cars and trucks. That's not a problem. But a big rig, I've never driven. But they put me in it and drove around for about 15 miles. And then the instructor said, you're not allowed to drive anymore. You're going to sit in the back and help me with these other kids because
He said you're gonna be an instructor now. You're gonna be an instructor. You need to be showing these people how to drive this stuff like this.
yeah. So
Dang.
it was a breeze. It was a breeze. They helped me through all the testing and the parallel parking and all that you have to do. They helped me with that. So I came out with like a 96 percentile out of the class.
And that worked then. So that was a little bit easier for you. It was a little bit easier for you to be able to take one of the jobs that you learned in the army and actually use it as a civilian. You know what I'm saying? To be, like you said,
to Yeah, to an extent. I mean, the licensing process and all that was pretty quick and easy. But after that, now I have a CDL. Now I have endorsements like tanker, hazmat. I had the whole full workup. Because if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do everything. So I got all the endorsements, and I had a secret clearance in the army, so hazmat wasn't an issue. And then I went out to find a job, and then nobody wanted to hire me because I didn't have any civilian hours. All my hours were military hours. So I have like 1 million military hours, but they don't count in the civilian world. And so nobody wanted to hire me. It was really difficult. It took me almost a year and a half to actually find somebody that would actually hire me and put me in the truck and trust me with, $200,000 of equipment to go work. Even though I had all these credentials and I made the whole book. We make a book in the Army called I Love Me book. Do y'all do that in the Marines?
Hey, what kind of book was that?
They call it I Love Me book. So it's a book about you, and you just it's a binder with all your certificates, like your basic training certificate.
Oh no,
AIT
you know what?
certificate.
Somebody talks about that. They talk about it, but
Yeah,
nobody actually does it. Nobody.
I've done it.
You did it. Well, it was good that you did it because you need stuff like that. Because when you start going
Yeah,
back and you start working for somebody, you start doing things like that.
it's a
Need
good
that.
record.
They want to reference it, and you want to be able to pull out your
Yeah,
Love Me book and go back
yeah,
and say, okay, right here it is. Here's the documentation. And it's similar to
yeah.
when you start working on your disability claims. My uncle, he did that. He had an I Love Me book, disability
Oh yeah,
claim.
yeah.
And he had a huge
That's
binder
yeah.
of everything that he's broke and everything that's been freaking fixed and fractured. And he had it broken down from your head all the way down to his toes, and he had it in sections and stuff. And I was like, but he got his 100% disability easy because he had that book and he was able to do that. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the struggles for our brothers and sisters when getting out is that they go in and try to put in a claim, but it's like, well, hell, I don't know. I don't remember the last time I went to the doctor. I don't remember what I went to the doctor for or whatever the case may be. And it's a struggle. It really is. I'm still fighting them right now. I'm fighting the VA right now. And it's been like I said, I got out back in '09. And so I'm bringing in claims now after serving. It's a struggle because I didn't have my book. I didn't have a book saying everything, but because we all served this amazing country, and the struggle is real. The older you get, you start feeling the freaking broken bones, the hips, the back, the feet, the legs. You're like, what is wrong with me? Why am I hurting so bad? Like, dude, you went
Yeah.
to war. You freaking had pounds upon pounds on your back and you humped miles. You walked miles with crap on your back that you carried for miles.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in the training that you have to endure while you're going in, I mean, for us in the Marine Corps, we have McMap training. So it's martial arts training. You go in there,
Yeah.
you get your butt whooped by anybody and everybody on a regular basis. You're getting hip thrown, your shoulders are getting torn out of the socket, you're getting beat up. And it's
Right.
all training, but if you don't document it the way you're supposed to document it, then it's not going to show up.
Yeah.
It's not going to show up. And then 10, 15 years later, you're like, dude, I'm hurting. My body hurts. My back hurts. My shoulders, my knees, everything's killing me, but I don't know why. And you have to go and try to fight the VA and say, look, this is the crap I did while I was in. This is what I did.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where's the documentation? You have to show the documentation. And if you had a
Yeah.
book like you're saying, an I Love Me book with all the records showing you, hey, I did this training, I did this training, I did this training, here's this, here's this, then yeah, something
Right.
like that is going to be able to get you what you need for a position. Say like you want to apply for a job, and they ask, well, when was the last time you got an award? What kind of award? You can pull it out and say, right here's the documentation of an award I received while serving.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's crazy. So I mean, so after you got out, you became a truck driver. Is that what you're saying? You assisted with truck driving school?
Yeah. After I came out, I worked in started out in the oil field business. And it was a local company, so Monday through Friday, and work about 10, 12 hours a day. But it was enough to start getting me some hours and some experience and stuff like that. And then from there, I worked up, worked in a position and using forklift skills. I went to a warehouse and
Okay.
was loading trucks with steel products. It was a steel mill there in Southeast Texas.
Okay.
And they didn't really pay shit.
Nobody really does. Like if you start thinking about it, it's like
Yeah.
you don't get paid shit. Like, and that's
Yeah.
that's one of the struggles. Like I say, that's what I tell everybody. I say we don't get paid crap in the military. We really don't. We don't get paid. We don't get paid to get it all. But when you start looking at it, you're like, damn, I had medical, I had dental, I had a retirement plan.
Housing, food allowance.
food, all that stuff, right? And you get out and
Right.
you're like, damn, I need to make like $30 an hour just to be close to what I was making while I was in,
Yeah.
It,
True.
and the struggle is real when it comes to that kind of stuff. And that's one of the things you're just like, what in the world is going on? It's hard trying to find, like I said, finding that purpose again after getting out. That's where the struggle is at. That's where I think we continue losing brothers and sisters on a regular basis. That is like, what is my purpose again? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to be living life again? Some
Right.
people have a struggle. Like, I mean, a lot of people do. They do get. I mean, you from Texas. A lot of people from Texas start doing oil. They get in the oil business, right? Because it
Yeah.
is still to an extent. It does. It has its points where it's booming, and you're like, oh, I'm bringing in money. I'm bringing in good money. And
Yeah.
then when it
Mhm.
dies, it's like, well,
You
it's
die
dead.
with it.
What am I gonna do? It's dead. It
Yeah.
died. Like
Exactly.
they're gonna lay you off because they're like, I don't need you no more because we ain't booming no more.
Yeah.
And that is a struggle. So
Well,
with
if I can add something to your viewers, if there's vets out there, no matter what your branch is, and you're an 88 Mike, you're a driver, and you have some type of CDL and you're working locally or regional type, um, I would encourage you to reach out to TMC Trucking in Illinois, because they're a mom and pop type operation. They only accept professionalism. I mean, they're very extremely picky. I mean, like military standard picky on how
oh
their
wow,
trucks are supposed to be maintained and how they're supposed to be cleaned. They do inspections. But if you're a veteran, they put a nice little star sticker on the trucks with your branch of service, how many years you served, and then you're automatically qualified to be a quality driver. So it puts you in a top ranked position from day one.
that's awesome. Yeah. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know there's something like that. But that's the thing. That's the whole purpose of the Stone Vet is to provide resources for our brothers and sisters trying to figure out, what are we doing? How do we do it? What is out there for me? What can I do? You know what I'm saying? It'd be like that. TMZ, whenever, if you're a CDL, I know I got a lot of truck drivers out there. I know a lot of people who drive them big freaking 7 tons and all them big equipment out there. You have the experience. The only thing is that is like, I don't have the license, but you do have the experience. And when you go out there to get your license, you already got that experience. So it's a little bit easier to go about
Right.
getting your license. You know what I'm saying? Like Eric here, he's like, yeah, he said, I went and I got my license. And they're like, hell, you need to start instructing people how to drive instead of being in here learning how to drive. And
Right.
that's great. That's great. So you're able, so it's a little bit easier for you. Jumped out and you said, I got to do something with my life after serving. You're like, I have to bring in money. I have to do something. And I got, and so
Yeah.
you went into it.
It took me. Yeah, it took me a while. It took me about a year. In Texas, we get to file unemployment for a year after you get out. If you don't know, you've got to file. Day one, you get out. As soon as you leave that post, the next day you go file for unemployment because they'll give it to you for 12 months.
Absolutely, and then in Texas, man, Texas takes care of their veterans. Texas does
Oh yeah.
a real good job of taking
Mhm.
care of their veterans and stuff like that. And There's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of veteran benefits in Texas. I know that
Oh yeah.
they take care of their veterans a lot. They want to make sure they're taken care of, getting everything that they need and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, a lot of people don't know. Hey, you can go and apply for unemployment, and you can get up to a year of unemployment until you figure out what you want to do. And that's
Yep.
one of the things that I tell that I like my viewers to see is that, hey, there's resources out there after you get out. You know, are you struggling? Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. It sucks. But you go get your unemployment. A lot of us are like, I ain't going to school. I ain't going to school. Consider going to a trade school or something that's of interest to you. Hell, you like computers? You can go to trade school for computers,
Yeah,
graphic design,
definitely.
or anything, and use that GI Bill. And guess what? They're gonna give you that freaking pay, that E5 pay with housing, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's not
Hmm.
bad, you know. And you can live off that until you get up on your feet to get where you want to be, where you need to be, getting your degree and whatever. If it don't have to be college. It does not have to be college. You can go to trade school. You can go to any kind of school that's interest of you, and they pay you to go sit in class and learn
Yeah.
something so that you can have you can have your upper hand on something else to get you where you need to be, so you can start getting on your feet and figuring out what life is about, what civilians are doing for a living, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of I know in Texas there's a lot of companies that do apprenticeship programs where you're electrical engineers or plumbers or carpenters. And I did that when way before the service, when I was about 19, and they hired me as a helper basically. I was doing on the job training while getting paid, and then they actually paid for and sent me to trade school that I did like 3 nights a week during the week to get my license.
Right.
And so there's a lot of that out there too, where if you don't know what you want to do, you can go work for a company and see if you like electrical work. If you don't, go jump over to a plumbing company until you find your niche. And then,
Absolutely. And a
yeah,
lot of
and then you
people,
can grow.
yeah, granted, you start in at the bottom. You start at the bottom, you got to start somewhere, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
anything else when you're doing. I started this show, I started at the bottom. Like, I didn't have any followers, I didn't have anything. I was like, I want to do this. I want to be able to bring this show together and bring some resources to us, to our family, to say, hey, there's resources out there for you. There are things out there for you that can help you get where you need to be. Are you in a rut and you're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing? Come over to the show. I've had great guests. I mean, not too long ago, I had MKB. I had Mike with the MKBs, another jarhead. He's doing leather work. He loves doing leather
Yeah,
work,
I watch the show. Hmm.
and he's got some.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
Cool things going on. I got his sister-in-law. She does plaques. She's doing plaques at Oakwood Place. She's doing, I mean, so there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. It's just,
Right.
what are you into? What is it that you're into? And what do you think could be something to help you get to that next level where you want to be? Because a lot of people is like, well, I want to do this, but I don't know anybody. But
Yeah.
I know somebody. I
Yeah.
know somebody that knows how to get into that world of whatever it is you want to get into. And that's the great part. And now that you've gotten out, now you obviously aren't truck driving no more. Now you are working. You started you got a nonprofit you're working for, right? You started a
Uh,
nonprofit. Why don't you tell us a
yeah.
little bit about your nonprofit?
Yeah. I started it. I actually had to quit truck driving because we had some issue with the mother of my child, and the state had to step in and remove my son from her, and so gave him to me. And so I was kind of, I mean, just one day I'm in a truck and thinking, life is kind of working out, I'm getting paid, getting on my feet. And then I get a call from the state saying, hey, you got to take your son. And your life kind of changes in like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, what the fuck? Because you got to take care of him. You're not going to say no.
Right,
And
right.
so,
It's your son. You're not gonna say, okay, no, I don't want that.
yeah, I'm kind of busy right now. No, call me back. Can't do that. And so I worked as long as I could with him, and then I quit, and I started my own business as a carpenter, doing kind of remodels and stuff like that in
Okay.
houses. And that worked out pretty good. It paid really good. I paid myself about $35 an hour.
Not bad.
Did everything under the table.
Of course.
You know, didn't like that very much sometimes, but I did everything under the table, and it was all legal. I mean, it was good work, and it was all certified. So,
Right.
but it got to the point where that hurricane hit Texas, that Hurricane Harvey,
Okay. Yep.
where it rained like 7 fucking days in a row, and everything where I live just filled up. Our family lost six houses in 24 hours.
Oh wow.
2 of them were total losses. And so all my projects and everything, all the bids I had lined up, of course, all that was canceled immediately. And now there was no work because we know you had a waiting period for the water go down. Then you had to strip everything out. Then you had to wait about 2 months for everything to dry before you can even get in to do anything.
Right.
And so without any work, I started helping my family. I completely remodeled my mom's house. She had about 4 feet of water in it. So I just basically put my life on hold and fixed her house, fixed my dad's house, and did kind of odd jobs in between to keep it going. But once everybody was kind of back to normal in the area, then I lost all my clients. Because nobody had any money.
Man.
So nobody was doing, people were fixing their houses, but they weren't remodeling their kitchens or adding a deck or, they didn't give a shit. All their money was trying to help all these people trying to, get back on their feet. So I was kind of lost and didn't know what to do. And, just started praying about it, thinking about it. And a couple of people from Honduras that I grew up with down here called me just out of the blue, about 2 or 3 of them that, don't even talk to each other. And started asking, what am I doing in life and how things going? And I told them about my time in the service and my business I was working on. And they said, why don't you come back down to Honduras and, kind of check things out, see if you can find you a spot here and keep doing the work that your dad was doing when he left. And so I came down for about 2 weeks. And I was going to work with a couple other NGOs. I talked to like 4 NGOs, and I just came down and just kind of made the rounds and visited each one, and kind of see what they were doing and offer my services to them for free. And as carpenter, electrician, plumber, whatever they need to do, or go out in the jungle and find people. It's what I grew up doing, and so I have a lot of experience in that. And everybody was just kind of scared to death. They're like, no, we got an orphanage or we got a little project and it's too dangerous. We can't venture out into Honduras like, we used to. We had to stay in one spot. And so that didn't really sit well with me because I grew up there with my dad and we went where we wanted to go. It didn't matter. We went places we weren't supposed to go sometimes, and encounter soldiers and different stuff like that. But nobody bothered us, because we were helping people. And so to come back and hear that, yeah, you can come help people, but you can't go here, or you can't go help these kids over here, or this community over here because somebody has an interest in them. I was like, well, I'm not going to accept that. And so I just got in here and found a spot here in the northeast corner of Honduras on the coast. And it's the last place my dad worked. It's kind of the place I left off when I was 16. I left here. And so I've come back to the place I left when I was 16, and I still have contacts here. And so I just came back and started visiting communities and figured out, what the fuck is wrong and what's going on and how to fucking fix it. And so that's what we're doing. We're just finding the problems, and figuring out solutions with them. But along the way, we're providing leadership training. So we're not just coming in and building something and saying, there you go, bye, never talk to you again. We actually go in and help them establish their leadership first and make sure that everything is working and they're handling their money okay and all that. And then once that's done, then we go and tackle a project, build a school or fix a road or something. And while we're doing that, we're teaching them how to develop the project, how to measure for the project, get the material list, how to go knock on doors and get money, and then how to bring everything together and build it. So that in the future, maybe they won't need a lot of outside help from the States. They'll already be formed up. They'll have their leadership going. They'll be moving the right direction. And then all they have to do is just basically go knock on doors or have an event, raise the money and fix it themselves. So it's something new that, nobody's doing in Honduras because it is really dangerous. I do this at a great risk to my life. But, after being in Iraq, it's like, whatever. I laugh at the cops and everything here, because I'm like, you don't even have half the training, not even a quarter of the training that I have and experience. So
Right.
they don't really bother me. I know that if it comes to that point, which it has come to that point a couple times, I always come out on top.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. So
Yeah.
that's awesome though that you're out there, you're out in a third world country, and you're like, these people need help. These people need a
Yeah.
lot of help, and they need resources similar to us. Like, how do you do this? How do you go about building this? How do you go about doing this? How do you go about doing that? And you're training them. You're showing them step by
Sure.
step. This is how you do a project.
Yeah.
You begin you
Yeah.
begin the planning. You go for reconnaissance and so forth and so forth. And your
Hmm.
organization is going out and you're training them. You're showing them this is what's required because, like you said, I won't always be here. I won't always be here to do this for you. But
Yeah.
let me get you started, get you the resources you need, show you how to use the resources. And when I'm gone and something breaks, you're able to address it and fix it.
Right.
I think for
True.
us, that's a lot of our struggles as veterans is that we aren't shown how to do things. We're very visual learners. Being in the
Mhm.
military, they said this is how we're going to do this. And then what they do, they showed you how to do it. And then
Right.
they exercised it on you and practiced it on you so you knew and you felt comfortable when you had to call in something, when you had to call in for help or you had to call in for airstrikes or whatever the case may be. They showed you. And then when it was time, they let you go. And if you ever needed that resources, you ever needed a 9 line, you ever needed 5 step or whatever it was, you already had it. You're like, I've done this. I know how to do this. I've done this before. And that's
Mhm.
what you're doing with your organization. What with your organization there in Honduras is helping the people, the citizens of the country in that area where you're at, and showing
Right.
them. And it's like you said, they tell me I can't go over here to this other community because of whatever the reason. You're like, but they need help, right? Just like you,
Yeah.
they need help as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
And so, and how long have you been doing? How long have you been out there in Honduras doing this?
I've been back here doing this about 2.5 years now.
Wow. So you've
Yeah.
been so the past 2.5 years. And so during see you like, man, screw Corona. I'm going to Honduras and hang out. I ain't, I ain't messing with the nonsense. How is the coronavirus there in Honduras right now? How is that? Is it as rampant as it is here in the U.S.?
I don't, it's hard to tell because there's a lot of political corruption. So a lot of the numbers are fudged, uh, to show results as Corona. And that's how they get foreign aid and all that kind of stuff. And so, I've personally talked to people that have gone to the hospital for pulmonary issues or upper respiratory infections, stuff like that, just basic stuff that people get. And they get told they have corona. And they're like, no, we don't have corona because we're isolated in the jungle. How the hell are we going to get corona from China when we're isolated in the jungle? So I don't really believe in it. I mean, I wear a mask, whatever. I'm careful, but I always wear a mask in Honduras anyway. I mean, there's AIDS and all kinds of different stuff down here. And so, I mean, corona is the least of my worries. I'm
Right.
worried about cholera and a couple other things. You know what I mean?
With everything else that's going on, and then like, of course with the mosquitoes and everything else, you can get all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy nonsense in those in countries like that where you're at. I mean, I know I've had some missionaries go out to places like out in Congo and Ethiopia and different
Oh,
areas
that's really
like
cool.
that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Where there's a lot of jungle,
Mhm.
and I mean the bugs are a little bit different in these countries. They carry a little
Yeah.
bit more things versus here in the U.S. They do carry a lot more things. I mean with malaria and everything else that's out there. That's crazy. I mean, with what you're doing, what is your goal? Being out there in Honduras? What is your organization's goal for the next 6 months out there?
Well, I would say the immediate goal for 6 months would be we've come across some property now that somebody has just given me. I told them I needed to be in the area to do some work and I had a project already lined out. And they said, well, we have a house that's vacant and you could just have it if you just want to trim the trees and cut the grass. So I moved into the property and it turns out to be a piece of property that we could build on to whatever structures there. And we're going to try to create a refugee center for the local Tulupan Indians. There's some indigenous Indians that have been in Central America for 6,000 years.
Wow.
So way before the Mayan, they were the first ones here in Central America, and they endured a lot of hardship when the Spaniards came here and killed a lot of them. Actually enslaved them for about 40 years, and then all of them kind of went to one place, one mountain. And once the Catholic Church came in and said, you had to free all the slaves and let the people go and stop messing with them, because they almost wiped them out completely.
Right.
Until the Catholic Church stepped in. And so once the treaty was made between the country and them to be left alone, left in peace, then the Catholic Church took them and put them in 3 different areas. So there's about 32 tribes living in 3 different mountainous areas.
Oh, wow.
And so now they have their land, their documents are, recognized internationally through OAS and the States, through the UN in Europe, but the country of Honduras doesn't recognize their land.
Oh man!
So now the state is coming in and they're cutting trees and taking trees from the property. They're coming in doing mining operations. But these aren't operations like in the States where they come in and they're clean and they plant trees behind them. No, they come in with AK-47s at night and kick people out and then come in the next day and take what they want. That's basically how they operate. And so our plan A is to get in there and try to push those people out of the way, and help the kids and help, the elderly people that are there and help the community. But if it becomes, to the point where we have to go to war, then our plan B is to have the refugee center. So basically a hotel, where the Indians can come if they need a day or a week or 2 weeks, whatever. They can have a bed and everything there, pillow, blankets, everything is there for them. It'd be self-sufficient where we can grow our own food. We can have animals as well. And so it's just basic mud structure is what it is. And they make it out of mud block, and it's, it's pretty freaking cheap. So it won't cost as much to put it together either. So that's what we're working on now, trying to get them like a safe haven. And hopefully through that, we can provide like medical attention. We can provide classes to the kids, how to read and write. We could do job skill training as well and teach them how to do carpentry work and different stuff like that, so that, they can go out in the world and work and get a better job.
That's freaking awesome, dude. You're doing some amazing work out there. That you're doing some things that people are like, man, you're doing stuff underneath the blind eye is what you're doing. You're doing stuff that people don't even realize, how you're assisting other people, how you assisting these people who had never been civilized before, these people who have lived in the jungle and who have lived there and have done it on their own for so many years. And you're coming in there and say, I'm here to help you. Like, what do you need help with? You need a center to be taken, so you have a place to seek shelter for a little while, and you're providing that for them, the resources that are out there. But you got an understanding of knowing, I know what it's like when I need help.
Yeah,
I know what it's like when I need help. And you're taking it upon yourself to say, these guys need help. They need our help. And we need to be here to provide them the resources they need. And for what you're doing, man, you're doing some awesome work. I mean,
thanks.
and then you're not being selfish about it. You're like, I am going to go into another country that aren't because I don't know how the Hondurans treat you being an American out there. Do you get any kind of neglect or anything?
No, actually the locals, I mean, very, very few. I mean, I would say probably 1% of the population does not agree with me. But 99% of the general population accepts me. Now the police, they have a different attitude toward me. They don't like me at all. But the military can't even interact with me. There's a treaty between the 2 countries. And so because I'm a combat veteran and I have a VA ID card, if they see that card, they have to walk away. They can't ask me where I'm going. They can't search me. They can't touch me. They have to walk away.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I'm trying to get veterans down here to volunteer, because, missionaries come down and, different people come down, college groups come down and stuff like that. And they always have trouble. They always get in trouble with the police, or they have problem with the military, or somebody intimidates them, because they don't have any combat experience. They don't have any training on that end of the deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to try to do plan and invite veterans down. So, if veterans are kind of lost or they just want to break, from the monotony and they want to come down for 2 weeks and, build a school, or we can go horseback ride in the jungle or whatever. I mean, it's really pretty. It's very cheap, super cheap to come down here. And even if somebody didn't want to do it full time, just to come down and clear your head and figure out who you are and where you're going and what you need to do next. This is a good place to do it. It really is. There's some really good places to get away and just really, really clear your mind.
Like a place to restart, almost like a recharge, the place to go to get recharged and find out, hey, because you might go down there and you might be like, I like what you're doing. I think I want to continue doing this. I want to be able to provide something for somebody else. And guess what? You get out of the monotony and what's going on here in America right now with all the chaos and everything else, all the nonsense that's going on with this or that or this, there's some stupidity going on in our country right now. And it's like, you want to get away? You want to make a difference in somebody's life, man? You have got to go hang out with Eric, dude. He's out in Honduras making a difference in this world. Like, it's not just for America, but in this world. He took it upon himself to say, somebody needs something that I can provide them. I can provide resources. He said, I'm a carpenter. I fix places. I fix houses. I run electricity. I do some awesome things. And I want to provide my services to people who could use them.
Right.
Because Eric, you struggle. I'm sure you struggle with PTSD. I see it on your shirt. You struggle with PTSD just like every one of us. You struggle with the anxiety. You struggle with the depression, dude. And if you sit in America in a freaking 1-bedroom apartment and you're by yourself, them demons are going to attack.
Yeah, it's going to eat you alive. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to eat you alive.
It's going to eat you alive, right, brother? It's going to eat you. And if you don't have somebody there with you that you can reach out and say, hey, dude, it's hard today. Today sucked. We have our days. We all have our days, Yeah. And sometimes it comes at the worst part of the day. It comes during the worst part of the week. You guys want to you guys want to go hang out with Eric? You want to go hang out in the ocean? Go play in the woods? Go play in the jungle for a little bit? Get some stress relief going? I'm going to have all of Eric's information down there in that description box, man. Go out there, reach out to him. Hell, it's a nonprofit, man. They're always needing funding like all of us do with any nonprofit. Go and help him. If you don't want to go out to the jungle and hang out with him and get bit by mosquitoes and all the other crazy bugs they got out there, he can always use your donations. That's what we're supposed to be doing as brothers and sisters, is helping organizations like what Eric's doing and helping them. $5 goes a long way, man. Regardless, whatever you think, $5 can go a long way. And if we get enough people donating $5 a month, it can go a long way, and it can help him with his mission and his journey, especially when he's bringing other brothers and sisters out to go horseback riding in the jungle, cutting down some trees and putting up some buildings. That money can go a long way, man. Definitely go check out what Eric's doing. Check out. You want to go and hang out with him? Like I said, I'll have all his contact information down there in the description box. You can go hit him up and say, hey, brother, I don't want to do it, but I know somebody who wants to come out and hang out with you and come get the resources that you're providing them, man. Remember, guys, you're not alone. You're never alone. You have people like us trying to help you guys find your purpose again. You guys always know I stress it on every episode, dude. You have to find your purpose. Don't let the enemy defeat you, right? Remember, when we was in service, what they tell us, we defeat the enemy every time, right? That anxiety, that depression, that PTSD, that is the enemy. What are you doing to defeat it? Where's your purpose? What are you doing? How are you going forward again? How are you getting where you need to be? That's why I bring on everybody. I bring on great resources like Eric. Eric's telling you this is how he deals with it. He said it. You stressed out? Hit me up, dude. I'll bring you down here to Honduras and we can get some stuff going. And it might trigger something in your mind, be like, I like this. I think I can do something like this. I think I can help people. Because guess what? You are a huge asset. All that training you went through, don't let it go to waste. You got anything else for these guys, Eric?
No, I guess in closing, talk about the opioids and, to let the veterans know that if you decide to make the transition of dropping your meds and going to just cannabis, it's a very viable option. but do it safely and reach out to vets or other people that have done it to kind of give you a guideline, because it is very dangerous. If you drop it and you don't medicate enough with cannabis, you can end your life. And so you have to be very careful. But I am a success that, I took 3 different kinds of medication for 10 years. The last one was Wellbutrin and Seroquel. And it got to the point where they want to put me on lithium, because I'm a special case, because I have double anxiety, double PTSD, double depression, because I grew up in Honduras. And so I grew up getting shot at and getting yelled at. And so I have all that from being a kid. And then my dumbass went and joined the army and went to Iraq and got another dose on top of it. And I never really treated it. I just kind of suppressed it as a kid and a young adult, just kind of suppress it. And I learned to live with it. But then when I went to Iraq and then came back, then it was like, wow, all that came back up, and then the new experiences as well. And so, yeah, a lot of the psychiatrists were very interested in, my story and what I was doing, but they said, I needed to be on lithium, and that was kind of the straw.
You're like, no.
I can't. I've already I had changed medicine like 3 times. I had, one time I had, sexual side effect from it. Another time it eliminated my metabolism, and I shot up to like 190 pounds, which is very rare. 150 is my max, no matter what I do. Even in the service, 150
Right.
was my max. And so a lot of, negative side effects. Plus it wasn't helping. I'm also a suicide survivor. So I tried that several times. And, just got to the point where I was like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to take my life, then I might as well drop the meds, start smoking cannabis, to try to recuperate. And then if I take my life, at least, I'm going to be happy, at
Right.
the end. I won't be as miserable. But, it didn't work out like that. I dropped the meds. I started the cannabis, and I've been med free for 3 years now, 3.5 years. And I can honestly say that my PTSD is pretty much cured.
Yeah.
My chronic severe depression that I had is cured. I don't feel depressed at all ever. And my anxiety is manageable.
Absolutely.
So, I know how to manage it a little bit better. And, it's just not the cannabis. You got to learn how to meditate as well.
Yeah.
That helped me a lot, and somebody gave me some advice that some vets might try. But, once you learn to meditate and you can, kind of clean your mind and not think about anything, then you can kind of reach in and grab those bad thoughts. You know what? I'm still alive.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right about cannabis. Like you just can't quit your meds. I don't ever recommend anybody just quitting their meds.
Right.
You always have to coast into it. If you want to start using cannabis, little by little.
Yeah.
Because
It's all about dosing.
yeah,
Mhm.
you have to dose it little by little, and you have to understand what kind of cannabis you're using. You have to ensure it's the right strain. You have to ensure you have the right terpene profile. There's a lot into it. You can't just quit your medication. I never recommend quitting your medication. You get into it, and when you start using cannabis, then you start weaning yourself off of the medication little by little every day until you realize
Yeah.
I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And especially when you incorporate a good CBD product as well with it, that is
Mhm.
when you can actually go in there and you actually find, okay, CBD and THC. Oh, I don't need as many of my meds anymore. Like I said, I bring people on the show who are taking pills upon pills, and they said cannabis has saved their life. They said ever
Oh, yeah.
since using cannabis,
Mhm.
I've weaned up, I've come off all my medication that was prescribed to me, because that's what the VA is going to do, is prescribe medication after medication.
Yeah. That's it. There's no treatment.
And there's no treatment, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. I've teamed up with some great individuals that are fighting for us to get it legalized across the country, for us, for at least veterans, get it legalized for veterans, at least, to be able to take their medicine wherever they want to go. And that's
Sure.
the biggest thing. And like I said, I've teamed up with some great people who are fighting for us to be able to do that, to be able to take our medicine, man. I appreciate it, Eric. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me on this Friday, enjoying. I ain't got the beautiful weather like you got right now. I ain't got no ocean blowing. It's kind of cloudy today, and it's got a little bit of rain coming in. So,
Yeah.
but where you're at looks beautiful, man. I spent 3 years in Hawaii, and it was paradise. I absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. And where you're at, it looks like it's absolutely beautiful. Just a nice, cool breeze, and you get to hang out and enjoy that beautiful air that's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said,
Mhm.
guys, I'm gonna put all Eric's information in the description box below. Don't forget to hit that daggone subscribe button so you know when I put out new episodes every week. Check out who I got coming out every week, man. Like I said, I got our brothers and sisters who are making a difference in our lives, who are making a difference and found their purpose again. You don't want to miss out on these great resources I'm providing you every week, man. I appreciate it, Eric. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I thank you for,
Thank you, brother.
for what you're doing, man. You're doing awesome work, man. Everything you're doing, everything you're providing for these people there in Honduras, that's freaking. I know it's a godsend. You're a godsend to them to be able to help provide that for them, man. Remember, guys.
Appreciate it.
Remember, guys, you're never alone. We are out here making a difference for you guys, so you guys can keep pushing forward every day. Remember, hit the Stone Vet. We got your 6.
It's Friday. You ain't got a job. We gon' get high today. Dark of the flesh, the deep of the roots, green of the weed. You know it's true. Puff, puff, pass. Trying to get high. Got high blood pressure. We coming down. Good smoke. Please numb me down.